How is it going, everybody? And it is time to celebrate because it is the moment you've been waiting for. PlayStation has another live service game in development. This time around, it will be a cooperative 4-player shooter coming from Bad Robot Games. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced a partnership to produce and publish Bad Robot Games' developed co-op shooter for PlayStation 5 and PC. Now, this will be directed by Left 4 Dead creator Mike Booth, and it certainly will be a live service game. I mean, most any multiplayer games that you see these days, especially ones that are being published by premier publishers and top-level publishers, chances are it's gonna go the live service route, which inherently isn't a bad thing. But Sony's track record with live service projects have been pretty bad. Outside of, you can obviously mention Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 has been a wild success. And then if you want to throw like Gran Turismo 7 in there, you can see that as a live service experience, I guess, and I guess MLB The Show. But for the most part, as far as them embarking on this live service initiative with a game such as Concord being a disaster, and yes, people want to throw away Naughty Dog. Look, that's a big L. Last of Us Factions did not come out. That's a gigantic L. Sony Bend was iced for 6 years. That's a huge L. Bluepoint has been iced now for 5 years. That's a huge L. They've just taken L after L, even if some of those games didn't see the light of day of being announced. There were a lot of studio closures, etc., etc., but now we do have another one that has been greenlit, and this one, again, coming from Bad Robot Games, and it's a co-op shooter being directed by Left 4 Dead creator Mike Booth. Now, it is currently in development, and I would imagine that it's still fairly early on, so you won't see this for a couple of years. Partnering with Sony Interactive Entertainment allows us to bring our new intellectual property to life with an expansive vision for this new universe. With the support of PlayStation, we hope to deliver a bold, innovative experience that is truly special for players. I could not be more excited that Mike Booth is at the creative helm crafting a cooperative adventure that'll lead to unforgettable moments with friends. Sony Interactive Entertainment Vice President and Head of Second-Party and Third-Party Content Ventures and Strategic Initiatives, Christian Sevenson, added, "We are greatly impressed with the talent Bad Robot Games has assembled at their studio and are thrilled to partner with them to help produce and publish their upcoming game. Their unique creative voice and passion for innovating across all forms of interactive entertainment perfectly aligns with Sony Interactive Entertainment's mission to craft experiences that resonate deeply with players. We can't wait for gamers to step into the world they've been building," and that's great and all. My worry about this is that PlayStation at this point, when they're going into other studios and they're checking what's big and what they think has the potential to really resonate with people, yes, they landed on Helldivers 2, but if you followed along with Helldivers 2 and how they were promoting that game, it is clear to anybody that PlayStation saw that game as a smaller scale release. They didn't expect it, at least I believe they did not expect it to be as big as it was, and you can dig up videos that I did prior to Helldivers 2 coming out, and when that game was initially announced, I was like, dude, PlayStation needs to get behind this game more. They need to promote this game more. This is the one live service game that it has a lot of chance to succeed and be a big title because it still retained the essence of what made Arrowhead outside of PlayStation really chasing after that live service bag, which I think a lot of people are now looking at PlayStation and any live service game that they're involved with that, oh, you're just chasing that live service bag, and it already optically looks bad. Now, ultimately, can this end up being a good game? Yeah, I don't think live service games is inherently bad. Guess what? One of my favorite games of 2025 is Where Winds Meet, and that is a live service game. Live service certainly has a place. However, Sony greenlighting Concord, greenlighting Fair Games, who knows what's gonna happen with that? I think that game's got disaster written all over it, and it was supposed to come out in 2025, got delayed to 2026. Who knows with that? And I can understand why Sony is so desperate to get into the live service model. Again, as far as generating revenue, that is the route to go in terms of if you pop off, if you get a big game that is successful, you will generate a lot of money because you have to think about how games are priced and how games are sold. The games that we like, you guys, Ghosts of Yote, Sorrow's coming out, Marvel's Wolverine, all of these big single-player AAA productions by Sony, they have a ceiling on how much money they can make. you are ultimately selling each copy of that game for $70, and that's it. You're gonna sell however many millions of copies, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million copies, and sure, that game can be successful, but if you land with a live service game, that game has no ceiling, at least certainly not as low of a ceiling, and that's from PlayStation's perception, as these AAA single-player productions. I recently talked to a buddy of mine that was a big Destiny 2 player, and we had him pull up his Steam transactions for Destiny 2, and bear in mind, Destiny 2, I believe, was initially available on Battle.net, but he had also played the game on PlayStation 4 prior to playing the game on PC. We tallied up every single dollar he spent on Destiny 2 over the course of, I believe it was 4 years, going back to late 2021, and the total number, and that's again in the span of 3 to 4 years, was $1,560, right around that range. And yes, this is somebody that has a little bit more disposable income, but it's not like he's filthy rich. He is somebody that doesn't have a family, but guess what? Not everybody is gonna be watching my content looking at, oh, how can I get the best deals, etc., etc. Some people just have disposable income, and I totally can understand why a Sony, why a lot of these publishers want to take advantage of those people that A, have disposable income, and then B, want to spend that disposable income in large sums on live service games that they're attached to. Because you put out these live service games, and people that are gonna be more financially cognizant about how much money they spend on video games, they're not gonna spend the $1,560 that my buddy spent on Destiny 2, but will they buy a battle pass here? Will they buy a cosmetic there? And over the course of their time playing that live service game, will they spend $50 to $60? Yeah, that happens all the time. But at the same time, you can take advantage of those people. Then I don't want to say take advantage of them. You know, it's their money, they can do whatever they want, but these people that do have disposable income, they can spend $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, even well over that on those games. And it is those whales that are supporting these games, and they are making them so much more financially lucrative than a Ghost of Yote. Because guess what? Ghost of Yote comes out, my buddy that's willing to spend $1,500 on Destiny 2, how much money is he gonna spend on Ghost of Yote? It's that same $70. They would rather, Sony and a lot of these other publishers would rather create a game that, yeah, those people that are gonna be more financially cognizant, they'll spend their $50, $60, or maybe even nothing over the course of them playing the game. We might get a little bit out of them, but then there is that audience that does have a little bit of disposable income. Let's get their $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, and obviously that's an extreme sense, but it goes even higher than that. There are people, and I spent a lot of money playing games like Hearthstone, League of Legends, but what you come to realize is there's only so much time in the day to go around on these games. So it will be interesting to see how Bad Robot Games' title is handled. And Sony, with a lot of their live service games, are going the approach of, okay, it's a $40 game, and then there is a level of microtransactions on top of that. And that is a slippery slope and a fine line you have to walk as well, because the monetization of those games have to be handled effectively. Monetization of any of these games have to be handled effectively, but I thought Helldivers 2 found a right spot, and even they had to do some course correcting with some of the stuff that they put out. But I just think right now, from an optics standpoint, nobody has any faith in Sony and live service titles, so people look at this and it's just like, dude, more resources being invested into live service games. But guess what? That's what they're gonna do. They have no competition. They are more about creating ecosystems to generate even more revenue, and that's what the live service model offers them. Now, I do look at 2026, and I do see it as a bit of a bounce back year for PlayStation. You got Soros, you got Wolverine, and I'm talking about bounce back as far as having 2 first-party games. That's what I would like to see, 2 major first-party games a year that are single-player games. That's all I really want, and maybe, you know, a smaller game, a remaster, whatever the case, to round out that lineup. I get it that the days of 2009 with like 5 games coming out, those are dead and buried. That's never gonna happen again. And they have no desire to happen, and they won't have the pressure to make that happen when they have no competition either. Back in 2009, they had pressure to put out marquee games. That is not the case anymore. They don't have that pressure. Are they going to put out marquee games? Yeah, they are. Is that pressure there? Absolutely not, and I think that's terrible for the console landscape entirely, and I don't think the Steam machine coming out is going to shake things up entirely either, but Let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about it? It's a co-op shooter, and I get it. I sound very negative about it. It's just because has Sony given me a lot of reason to be excited about their foray into live service? I loved Helldivers 2. I thought it was a great game, but seeing Ben's studio get iced, Days Gone 2 did not happen so they could chase the live service bag. Bluepoint put out the Demon's Souls remake and Shadow of the Colossus in the span of 3.5 years, and they haven't put out anything now north of 5 years. Why? They were involved with live service. You could go on and on. Naughty Dog hasn't put out a game, and it'll be 7 years between games by the time Intergalactic comes out. Think about all of these studios getting iced for this many years. Last of Us is iced, Uncharted is iced, and what was it all for? It was all for chasing that live service bag. If you don't think I'm gonna be upset about that and a little bit agitated, well, and it's not just me, it's obviously a large audience of people that's upset about this and the direction that Sony went. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.